So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this very interesting and special conversation. And I have at least delivered on my promise, which I made of trying to have guests over on this podcast of Man of Steel, which deals with personal growth and the like. And today I've been privileged with being graced by the presence of Astins, although he can give a brief introduction of himself and then we can carry on from there.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tentemshuwa.
Yes.
My name is Hastings Chande, also known as Mr. Positivity. Yeah, I think that's more about me.
Okay, so having heard from Mr. Positivity, today's topic is called Belt in the Fire because many of the times we find ourselves like being pressed or maybe going through hard instances and circumstances that we cannot bestow upon our own. And today we're just trying to like break down some of the things that keep us from being our greatest selves. It's like you have a struggle that you have to get rid of, but still you are being pressed in by the earthly circumstances that come with earth. And today, since I'm being graced by the period of Mr. Astins, I'm just going to ask him just like a simple question, like if you could tell us about the moment where you felt like everything was trying to like fall apart, but you still managed to stand. Like, how do you deal with such situations where you feel as though you actually felt like you're losing grip of something, but what kept you from not giving up?
All right. I can just give a brief moment of my life.
Yes.
There was a time where at the University of Zambia
Mm.
in first year,
Okay.
yeah, I was supposed to short. The way it is like in secondary, I was a bit good in math.
Okay.
Yeah, then when I came to the University of Zambia first year,
Mm.
NS, School of Natural Sciences,
Mm-hmm.
when we wrote mathematics, the first quiz, I
Mm.
managed to hammer a 95,
Okay, that's
which
really
made
nice.
me so proud. And
Yeah.
I think I forgot to say I'm supposed to revise more and study more so
Mm.
that I become okay and
Okay.
like stable in that particular field so that I maintain those marks.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was,
Mm-hmm.
due to the fact that I became so proud,
Mm.
I ended up getting a 30% in test one,
Mm.
then also ended up getting a 40% in test two and a
Mm.
45% in quiz two, which
Yeah.
gave me a C of somewhere at 12.
Wow.
So now you realize to say this, here is someone who is really good at what, like I knew that I was good in math because
Mm-hmm.
it was easy for me to understand it and it
Mm-hmm.
was easy for me to explain it to others,
Mm-hmm.
and others could understand exactly what I'm trying to relay to them.
Yeah.
So I think at that particular time, if
Mm.
now where they're saying no CA, no exam, it's possible that I couldn't have written the exams by then.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I knew that I failed.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of blaming it on the lecturers,
Mm.
blaming it on the tutors,
Mm.
and blaming it on other people,
Yeah.
I tried to put myself in the picture to say
Mm.
I'm the main character of this story. I could
Mm.
have changed the whole situation.
Yeah.
So I am the main problem.
Okay.
So I just had to go somewhere, sit. The
Mm.
good part is once you fail,
Mm.
do not do not hide those failures. I
Mm.
think especially away from you.
Yeah.
There are situations where maybe you fail
Mm.
to achieve a certain thing that you wanted to achieve. It can be a business contract.
Sure.
It can be an academic paper, like a test paper. You
Okay.
wanted to ace maybe to get an 80%, maybe get a 30%. Then
Mm.
just get it, you tear it.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah,
me,
because of
I
the frustration.
exactly. So what made me to pull off, like to pull off that failure title?
Aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get that paper,
Mm.
those papers that
Mm.
I failed,
Mm.
and try to find out exactly where I was going wrong.
Okay.
So making one like this is more like making one simple rule or principle, which is most of the times when you fail,
Mm-hmm.
you should give yourself chance to look at what happened for you to land in that particular thing.
Okay.
So
So
me,
yeah.
uh
So all in all, what you are trying to bring out is sometimes we even have to be proud of our failures because it's only through the failures of which we can learn some aspects or some dimensions or areas where we were lacking behind. It's not about when you fail, you put that failure like behind you and then just keep moving with the same ideologies that you had the time you failed.
exactly.
It's like I'm getting it in a situation where you said, okay, you are a student quite right?
uh
So it happened that you got low marks, but you didn't like say, no, these are not my marks, you threw them away. No, you held them, and after holding them, you were like, oh, so what am I going to do to at least like move forward and actually like get higher scores or higher results from these. So yeah, that's at least what I've gotten from that aspect.
Just to chip in again, I
Yeah.
think the sole reason why you should get those papers and look at them, it
Mm.
is to see where you're going wrong.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because it's possible that you might be going, like you might have understood the information, but you might have just been too fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe
So
your
take it
accuracy is
easily.
pathetic. Yeah, you take it
Yeah.
easy and check where you're going wrong. I think that's one of the things that made me pull up.
Yeah, and also many of the times that we students find ourselves in situations where we uh, lack in one area or the other. Why I'm saying lacking is because most of the times we find ourselves having like 90% of our times busy on books and the things like that. But what I want to bring forth as a question is, has there ever been a moment where physical pain has driven you to at least achieve something at the end of the day that you can be proud of? Like not only as a student, but also as just a citizen existing in general. Like when you feel like maybe you are in the gym working out and
Mhm.
how that like gave you the drive and gave you like an open mind to go and chase for more. Has that ever been like a situation occurring to you? Because for me, I do see myself as a person who's like, for example, if I had to go to the gym per se, the reason why I'm going to the gym is because I really want like my body to be fit at the end of the day.
Sure.
And every day I have to look forward to something that will keep me strong and moving every day.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't find me like trying to only do academics minus the physical aspect of working out. Because many other times that you get to have an familiar headaches out of nowhere,
Exactly.
you get to have like maybe stomach problems and these things, fever and the like, but those things can be avoided because at the end of the day, we have to realize that quite right, we're human being and we can be susceptible to sicknesses and illnesses.
Mhm.
But the only way of which we can like cope with them is at least keeping a strong body physique, which allows you at least to like even be
Do
driven
something.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's this type of aspect where it's like if you work out more, it's like you're even allowing the blood to flow through your body.
Exactly.
Every clump that you might have any laziness thing, like for example, if you're moving from place to place trying to achieve something, you'll be like, no, yeah, I'm lazy, I won't go there today. But if you work out, you'll be like, that's an easy task. Me just moving from there to come back again. No wonder why working out or having some physical strain on the body really gives you that mindset to be like, okay, if I'm able to do maybe say 500 push-ups, right?
Mhm.
And then here comes a test, and in that test you find that maybe they're just 4 or 5 questions, or maybe you're given an assignment of which you have to do research from somewhere. You'll be like, that's an easy flex because I put mostly physical pressure on myself. But that's the way I see it. Like you put physical pressure on yourself, and then when things which are like you're trying to handle come, you'll be like, so how is this? It's just simple. Just do that.
Uh,
Yeah, haven't you had those type of encounters? Because those do occur to me from time to
yeah,
time.
I think those I had encountered most of them. I think some few years ago.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think even now it's still happening. It's just some few weeks ago when I realized to say I became very good at typing
Yeah,
because my phone got spoiled, and
yeah,
so I was using the laptop for
yeah,
WhatsApp and
for
the like. So
everything.
I realized that through chatting more
Yeah.
on WhatsApp, typing academic, maybe you're just trying to search something on Google.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, you used to use your phone. You said
Yeah.
it's done, but this time around, you're using your phone. It's like the laptop. It's like everything is the laptop. I
Mm,
became good at typing, so
mm,
that made me like a bit better than the way I was. That was like physical pressure for me. Then,
yeah.
aside from that, it is through maybe me. I was introduced to working out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I learned endurance.
Yes.
I also learned about I learned on consistency.
Yeah.
I think
Sure.
consistency, that picture gave me to say if you're consistent on something, I
Mm,
think the results will show.
yeah.
Yeah, the results will show. So even running,
Yeah.
the Lord line. So you realize to say
Mm,
just through jogging with my
mm,
friends, I
mm.
realized to say if I can manage doing maybe a 50 meters,
Yes. Yes.
manage doing the 50 meters
Mm,
when I was failing to do 50 meters,
yeah.
you get
Mm,
today maybe I start, then I'm doing maybe 20 meters,
mm-hmm.
tomorrow 20 meters, the
Mm,
other day I tried 30 meters, it's
yeah.
working. So consistency
Yeah.
made me realize to say you can have perfect results.
Mm.
Same applies to standing.
So can you define that as a grind?
Yeah,
Like.
yeah, yeah, it's more like one of the things, some of the things that we do in life,
Mm,
it can be you. washing plates at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, you realize that because you've washed a lot, if you know the point where if I'm washing this pan or this pot in this dimension, it will
Mm.
not remove the dirt
Oh
that is
yeah.
located on the other side. You get the
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
right?
So it's all
Yeah,
consistency.
so when you sit down and
Mm.
analyze how far you have gone from point zero to point Z in other things, it
Yeah.
can give you more courage to say,
Mm.
even when I'm standing,
Mm.
like if I consistently do the same thing, then
Mm.
I'm also moving forward and
Mm.
I'm trying to check my results. I study, then I
Mm.
go back, I check to say, okay, so in the past 1 week, what
Mm.
is it that I've managed to do? You get the point? Huh? I think those are some of the realizations that I've had in the past few days that are, I think, going to help me push forward, and they have helped me push forward.
Yeah, but yeah, I really see like grinds do really help
Hmm.
and they do push people forward.
Hmm.
But if there's one thing which I've at least learned as this person who's living in this world we're in, there are there are some setbacks always in life, and how to handle them sometimes can be hard because you find that not exactly what you do want to like have at that moment in time, you can't access it and you can't have it because of some overseeing things which are like worldly pressures.
Hmm.
So it gets hard. Like for example, if you're trying to maybe like set up a podcast per se, by finding like you don't have an audience, maybe you have like a family pressure which you have to go and attend, which means you're going to like push this at another day. And what I've really gotten from what you said, or it's like we can grind quite alright, but if you grind without consistency and you keep moving without that head and mindset that's telling you keep doing it again, keep doing it
Example,
again.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's always and there's this saying which I don't like, but I do like the way I say it. It goes like practice makes perfect.
Hmm.
Yes, of course you can practice, but what I myself define that is like perfect practice makes perfect.
And
You have
again,
to perfectly practice something. There's no way you can just like always be practicing. Okay, what if practice is just go sit there lazy and everything? But if there are those people who are like perfectly practicing,
but
yeah.
look, Mr. Mushiwe, sometimes again it's a thing where
Mm,
when you're practicing, huh,
mm-hmm.
the way you defined it to say perfect practice
Makes
makes it
perfect.
so
Yeah.
imagine now,
Mm,
in as much as maybe like maybe the start, the way you started, you
mm,
were not really doing it perfectly, yeah,
yeah.
but for so long as you were doing it, you get
Mm,
the point, right?
mm,
So someone, maybe if you were to research more, for example, just doing exercises,
yeah.
how you were supposed to do the push-ups,
Mm.
you can go on YouTube, on Google, they will
But
show
but
you how exactly you're
yeah.
supposed to do it. But
But
look,
have you ever heard of that thing where like if you're working out and doing wrong
you
things,
can end up injuring
yeah,
your
you can
muscles, yeah.
end up
so,
injuring
so
your
now
muscles.
so
Now
now
imagine if that's consistency. You're
so there is
pushing daily, daily,
consistency.
daily,
So
and
you
then you're
see,
not. Yeah.
so aside from consistency,
Mm,
don't you think, aside from consistency,
mm.
I think you can also couple it with interest,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I
All
believe
interest.
when
Yes.
you're interested in something,
Mm,
interested to do something, you
mm,
can do a little bit, we say a little bit, maybe of research on it, so that
mm.
you know exactly how it's supposed to be
Yeah.
done.
That's the end product. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm agreeing with your statement now.
Yeah.
Perfect practice
Perfect practice. Yeah.
makes
You
it
have to agree
perfect.
because
Yeah.
check. There are also some things that we have to know about like practicing and doing something. I'll talk physique because that's some of the things that I do enjoy. There are some times when you are from a workout,
Hmm.
you didn't stretch as much as you have to.
Yeah,
You find that you get fatigued more, lactic acid builds more because you're not doing it in the right way.
exactly.
An example, yesterday I went for a run quite right,
Hmm.
but I always have this mode of how I structure my things. Like before going for a run, I have to make sure like maybe a good 3 hours before a run,
Yeah,
I shouldn't drink or eat anything. I should just be telling my mind, okay, I'm going to do this. And after that, that's one thing. 3 hours of your body knowing that you have to go and run. So this shows you that okay, you're trying to achieve that perfect practice at least. And then before you start again like the running thing, you have to do like some uh jumping. At least you get your legs warmed up like that. You just have to get like your system ready. That's just like maybe like a good 10 minutes, and then after that you go for the grind, you run, 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 and after you're
exactly.
done, you also have to now like stretch your muscles, your abs, your waist, your legs, your neck,
Mm,
everything, because as someone is running or maybe someone is working out, every part of the body really matters, every muscle you have. And if you're just like going every day, just like practice, practice without that interest of you even trying to research, knowing how that thing can be perfectly done by professionals, and you trying to imitate them, it'll be like you even start to hate things because you're just practicing them just like just mere practice. But if you have that strong interest in you to be like, okay, I have to do this in that manner so that ABCD won't happen. I won't be having any muscle fatigues, any cramps, any health issues, any injuries. You just avoid that all by perfectly practicing. So all I'm saying about perfect practice is that someone has to have keen interest in what they have to do at the moment in time.
And how they should use it to
Yeah,
prepare for the
yeah,
future or
yeah,
the coming days. Because
yeah.
we might do something, then
Mm,
you end up maybe getting sick or injured
yeah,
or traumatized.
yeah.
So same applies to studying, man.
Mm,
You can be studying and studying and studying and studying and studying, but you're not planning for the future
yeah,
or what tomorrow odds.
yeah.
You realize to say you're supposed to study for a paper. You
Mm-hmm.
get the point. Huh? You have seen that time is limited.
Mm-hmm.
Then what you're supposed to study is a lot.
Yeah.
So all in all, it's more like for you to have a lot to study. It means that there was no consistency from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You had to let wake to power up. Now
Mm-hmm.
wake has powered up. So what is it that you're supposed to do? You get the point. You need to have a positive mindset. Positive mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can employ, I think, a few things that I learned a few days ago. Yeah, a few days ago I learned a lot of things, which is you need to observe the kind of work. You get the point?
Mm-hmm.
So you observe, you think,
Mm-hmm.
then you conclude.
Yeah.
Because when you observe, maybe you can get different past papers, especially if it is prepared by that same lecturer. Or aside from that, you can just go on Google. You see uh, Google, and you can use your course outline. You see what that particular the outline
Mm-hmm.
of that particular course that you're doing and what you're supposed to understand in that particular topic that you're dealing with. So you see, you have observed what is supposed to be done
Mm-hmm.
and you have started thinking about it now.
Yeah.
How can I understand this in the shortest possible period
Of
of
time.
time? You get the point?
Mm.
Yeah. And then you conclude.
Yeah.
Then you're going to find the answer. So implying that you are trying to you're trying by all means to remove the stress. Yeah, so we are not saying you're not supposed to be consistent, but be consistent throughout so that when that day comes,
Mm.
you'll be thinking about I think your ideas are going to be, I think, a little bit more
Yeah.
and wider and deeper.
True.
Yeah.
And also, there's this thing that has been hitting me as a student.
Hmm.
Uh, quite alright, some students now. This consistency thing, I really like run out of patience from time to time because I'll be like, how long am I going to be in school for? I'm like, I'm going to be in school for maybe like 6 years and I'm in my first year. And
Uh-huh.
they're like, so would I have to like really be doing this every time for like 6 years? And then you're like, no wonder why some people even start procrastinating, some
Exactly.
get into bad vices. I'm not blaming like the educational system, but I'm just like trying to bring forth the idea of having a strong mentality that is willing to go for the long run. Because things that will just come like out of the blues quick and fast, they'll go as quick as fast. But if you consistently work on something for a long period of time, you continue building slowly but surely building. Make sure that the foundation is strong and the way you are going to build everything is strong. So at the end of the day, it will be maintained and it will have a structure that won't like be brought down by any other physical thing. No wonder why I think school has been structured that way. It's because everyone has in mind to be like at the end of the day, I have to get this. But if you just said it's not the end of the day, it's the end of years. How many years? 4 years,
Yeah, you're
5
supposed to
years?
get what you're
Yeah,
looking for.
and the students, half of like the student populace, like half, I don't know the like approximate statistical number, but I can say half depend on parents.
Mm.
And then there's just a few population of them who do business. But even when they do business, you find that they are disadvantaged
Mhm.
in such a way that there'll be a time when they'll be required to go for class, submitting assignments. No, something is due here. The customer said ABCD, so your mind is not going to be in the game. And it's just something when it comes to these long-term goals that we do set for ourselves. And since I'm looking at it at the student's point of view, it's quite hard and it's quite just mental scarring if you are not like ready, you know that I have to do this at that moment in time, I have to do that at this moment in time. And if you just work and live like a spitting balls everywhere, that's where you find like bad vices will come to also like fly in. You get to do some things that
You never wanted to
yeah,
do.
you
You never
wanted to do,
even
like,
planned it.
yeah,
You
but
never
yeah,
even planned
I,
for
I, I
them.
I really don't want to get into some of these things that people do, but yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's
censorship,
I think
censorship.
that's an addition to that. Most of the time, I think we just get to find we try to find bigger examples, forgetting
Yeah.
those minor examples that
Mm.
happen in our lives where
Mm-hmm.
we were consistent and
Mm-hmm.
it happened. we applied consistency and it happened. It's a small
Yeah.
example, quite alright, but you did it
Uh,
through consistency. Get so
uh,
why not do the same thing? Get
mm,
to solve your problem. Now the
yeah.
problem is that people want to go
Mm,
for the bigger examples, of which those bigger examples happen. They happen not to be in their lives,
mm,
but they happen to be in other people's lives
mm,
who are doing it at a much higher level. You get the point.
yeah.
So you realize to say some that person will tell you a wrong thing. Maybe they won't even tell you the truth.
Mm,
But mostly, it's not wrong to give yourself as an example where you look at the small things that you used to do consistently and
mm,
the results that you got. It can give you that courage and that positive mentality to say, "Oh, I think when I'm dealing with this big thing here,
mm.
I should just put in a little bit more of consistency. Then I feel like it's going to give me the final answer.
Desired
Yeah, the
results.
desired result. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really, we have really like spoken and talked of a lot. But all you know what I have to say is that I'm a human being, and there are a lot of things that I do. Uh, I can't say I'm not a quitter. There are things that I do quit and just stop. An example I'm going to give is like, for real. I used to like last year I was into like making art and the like, and then due to external circumstances, I found myself like having my beads being mixed up, losing my needles, the ones I was using for like sticking the beads on the mosaic and everything, and at the end of the day, I started blaming myself to be like, okay, you tried to pick up art, although you failed at it, but I was like, even if I did fail at art, what will I do now? I didn't take it as a failure. It's because the place where I was in, it was allowing me to keep these tiny things.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that when I want to find them, I can just find them easily. Now, when the space got a bit cramped and small, when I invited people over and we started living together and the like, what happened was the space became minimal. And so some of those things of which you can like do when
The
you
way
have
you
that
exactly.
plenty space
Mhm.
got limited. So it's like I even felt like quitting or but what kept me and what drove me to just like have that mindset to be like, okay, I shouldn't stop, I have to keep going, was just me knowing that at the end of the day, I want people to at least like when they look back, they be like, what were you spending in that amount of time? Be like, maybe I did ABC, I just like show at least some results. Like, okay, I wasn't just slacking and the like, because I believe slacking is nice,
Yeah.
binge watching movies is nice, but there are some of those things which you have to create like with your own hands because we're creators and sometimes we are just limited by things that do give us like instant dopamine hits. Like for
Exactly.
example, we just I don't know. I don't want to like judge how people live their
Use
lives, but
their phones
yeah, but you
especially.
just find like something is just so consuming. You just feel like that is not you. It's someone creating, and you are. And there is this saying which I heard like whenever like it was in the tech world, it's a tech world news where they were saying the products are the people. We don't make like when they make phones and they like all this that they are making, pumping everything in the internet, algorithms and the like, the people who are scoring are the people who are giving these people money.
Yeah.
So it's like you're being used. So instead of you feeling like you have lost, you're a quitter. Okay, because sometimes when going through reels, you can even like, someone did this and I haven't. The motivation, you put that go aside. But once when you start looking at yourself to be like the man, you start looking at yourself to be like, I am the being, me alone, where you like break off all other boundaries and break off other external things, trying to like imitate other people. Just make a simple story just about you. Because at the end of the day, there will be a story that will be told about you. Like there are these strong people we have in history, like when Nelson Mandela, Kenneth Kaunda, talk of
Don't forget Moshal.
oh yeah, for Zambia, yes, we can talk of
Shout out to
Mushala.
Mushala.
Yeah, shout out to
So
Mushala.
very, very
We can
sorry,
talk
rest in
of
peace.
yeah, we can talk of Robert Mugabe. You
Yeah.
know, at the end of it all, it's like these people they were just like trying to be like a better version of themselves, which we celebrate now.
Mhm.
Because you can't that whole generation didn't have people who were like living and also just thinking like, oh, maybe I've done it, so I can do it, so I've just given up. But what should always like be the drive is like you are the author of your own story. As long as you have your own mind, your own heart, and your own hands that you move with your own will,
Mhm.
it would have been hard if at least we were bound with chains and everything. But it's like we are free citizens living in a civilized world where when you feel like you have given up and you can't achieve your goals, just look deep inside you, but don't cause any like disorder amongst
Mhm.
people. No, 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 no. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is just keep moving, and with consistency, just daily make a schedule which every day you feel like you're becoming a better version of yourself. That will make you like achieve these long-term and short-term goals. And if you're a student, you get to find yourself like by the end of the semester you've achieved things that you were like, wow, how did I even achieve this?
Mm.
Wow,
I
this
was
is
being lazy.
yeah, this is just be nice. And that will at least like give you that type of a mindset that is not a quitting type of a mindset, but a mindset that is willing to take on the challenge and also digest to the challenge and see that at the end of it all the results are shown. So
Exactly.
yeah, after talking about the like this episode of built in the fire, or it is just like trying to bring to light is you are your own creator of your own story. Like we don't have to let like some external sources try to drive.
Drive, yeah.
Yeah, because if we let external forces drive us, we'll end up living another person's life instead of living your own. And also make some goals. Set up boundaries. Set even in your friendship circle, even all the people that if I associate with this one, that will be the product, that will be the product. You just see their interest and everything, analyze all that because it's your life you're living at the end of it all. And
Exactly.
all we look for in this world is peace and unity and just trying to wake up some of those people who are like sleeping because I've been a person who has been a victim. Have you never been a victim of where you feel like you're lost? Because some of the times I do find myself like being lost, feeling like maybe I should just even give up, but still,
I think giving up. I think giving up has never been my like one of the things
not
that I've
even
experienced.
one day for
Not
yourself.
even one day. I've
Why?
never felt like giving up. I think yeah, I've never felt like giving up on doing things that I wanted to do
Yeah.
because of one simple thing,
Mm,
positivity. Like you just okay, quite alright. You're also thinking about the negative aspect of life, but
mm,
there's also the positive aspect of life. You look at the negative aspect of life, then you feel like, okay, what is it that I can do to change that?
mm,
You get the point?
mm,
Yeah, to counter that
yeah,
while it's having the same positive mind. You want
yeah,
to add more positives than negatives.
yeah,
So you realize to say, with that positive attitude, you're going to have less stress,
mm,
which makes me critically think about the situation,
yeah,
analyze it perfectly.
mm,
And by the way, I heard you talking about people maybe they want to do something and they lose interest along the way.
yeah,
I think it's basically how they how they accept
mm,
the critics.
yeah,
You get the point, guys. Someone will criticize on what you're doing,
mm,
positively or negatively.
mm,
Yeah, criticism can be positive or negative. Someone just criticizes on your project, criticizes, yeah, negatively on your project. What can you do? You get the point. You
mm,
can listen to what they have said, but not to actually put it as part of your process, where it can even make you to quit the whole process. The
mm,
thing here is, what is it that he saw
mm,
that I've not seen
mm.
for him to say what he has said? I
Yeah,
think it's from a simple question that makes you think a lot. We are scientists, Mr. Dente.
yeah, true.
Yeah, and science, the word
We
science
have to
comes
be
from, yeah,
curious
you have to be curious. It
and
comes from the
critical
word
thinking.
think.
Yeah,
So
think,
as a
yeah.
scientist, you're supposed to be critical thinker
Yeah,
and an
view a
analyst.
problem from every
Exactly.
direction, every
What is it
dimension.
that he was thinking about? Then you
Mm,
see his point of view.
mm,
Then you see how you can counter what she has said. If he was speaking the truth, was
yeah,
it from the point of jealousy? Was
yeah,
he speaking the truth? Was it just being neutral so that so that my project
mm,
gets to a level where it's supposed to be?
yeah,
Maybe he has understood what I'm doing. Get the point? Huh?
yeah,
Yeah. So
mm,
sometimes it's about how you receive. It's about how you're going to analyze the critics that people are giving you.
yeah,
Are you going to take them positive? It has come negative.
mm,
You get,
mm,
but are you going to take it as negative as it is and
yeah,
put it
and
as
put it in
part
the
of
pro.
the process? No, you're supposed to analyze it and put it as a positive
So
critique.
it's about like analyzing what people do, like make what can I call this? Assumptions, or can I call them? There's this word I'm looking for.
Like for example, you wanted to buy, maybe you want to buy
There's this
a,
word I'm looking for.
uh,
Like you're saying critique, but they're not only critique. There are people even like maybe like give advice, not only advice, but can I? There's this, no, not questions even, but is it feedbacks like upon what you're doing? Because
yeah,
you find like
you see the
same,
feedback of
you
people,
know, feedback of people, their responses, their
their
reactions,
reaction to
even
your project.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I believe sometimes we live in a box. So if you make an idea in your head, you find like mostly there are people who have been through it.
Mhm.
So me, the reason why I like receiving like critique, like reactions and criticisms from people
Yeah, being
is because
criticized, yeah.
maybe they have seen someone who was like doing the same thing
But
I'm
they
doing.
failed.
Yeah, and they see you and they're like, maybe if this person had to do it like the other way, away from what that one did. It's good sometimes to even take like advice from critics, because what if their advice will work? And sometimes it can be negative advice, it can be good advice, but it all depends on how you're going to take it.
Yeah.
If you take it to be like, this person doesn't know, what if that person doesn't know? So it's it's good sometimes to even like receive negative backgrounds from people. It's
And
because,
change it into like
yeah,
just turn it into a positive
because
advice.
no one's perfect at the end of the day. We're
Exactly.
all just trying to like build ourselves so that at least we enjoy our run in this three-dimensional plane of existence.
Just to think about this. You want to buy maybe you want to open a maybe uh okay, you want to buy a camera so that you be conducting photo shoot sessions,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Yeah, Chilanga Mlido, weddings, and
Kitchen
they're like,
parties and
yeah, yeah,
all.
exactly.
Mm,
Then you go to your friend, you explain to them exactly what type of camera you want to get.
mm,
Then they tell you, say, oh, that camera is expensive, bro, it's expensive. They're indirectly telling you that you cannot manage buying that camera.
yeah.
So that's a point where you just keep quiet,
Mm,
listen to what they're saying, then you go back like where you sit alone mostly, then you'll be like, so this person, when they look at me, they clearly, when they look at me, they see a person who cannot even manage buying this camera. But
mm,
the funny part is, you didn't even tell him how you intend on going about buying that same camera.
mm.
But then they just concluded.
Concluded.
So that's a negative critic, man.
Yeah,
In as much as it sounds so plain, but it's a negative critic when you critically analyze it
yeah,
or think about it. You get the point? So
yeah.
how are we supposed to take it? Should you be like, oh, yeah, I think the guy is true. You might know one or two things about your financial status,
Mm,
but that doesn't mean that that's a barrier. You can still do something about it and end up getting what you want. It's still consistency, bro.
yeah.
Still consistency. You get the point?
Mm.
You can find ways and means still keeping a positive attitude.
Mine.
You can, yeah, you can maybe find a side hustle where you maybe you're just getting, even as much as you're getting little money, putting it together.
Mm,
After some time, you realize that you've got the money that you can use to buy that particular thing. So
mm,
still consistency, interest,
mm.
and discipline.
Yeah, discipline.
Exactly.
Anyways, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have come to an end of this interactive conversation which I've had with Mr. Astins,
AKA
Mr.
positivity.
Yes, again, Mr. Positivity. So for me, Tendum Shuwe, and what else can I say? Yeah, from just me and just from the audience, I really appreciate for the time of which I've given us to at least like analyze some of these things, and I hope one or two things you had to pick up and also relate to the things that you're going through. But don't feel shy to comment or maybe give like analogies of what was being discussed here, because the way we view things and from the way that your viewers view things can be different, but it's
Perception.
only your perceptions, but it's
Mhm.
only through interactions and through you critiquing, commenting,
They
can
get to
we
improve.
just move forward.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I say goodbye and God bless. Any closing remarks?
I think the only thing I can tell them is in whatever you're doing, keep a positive attitude.
Mm,
Apart from that, you should make sure to say, in short, let me just say keep a positive attitude because it's the only one thing that can lessen the stress, the
mm,
negative thoughts.
mm.
Because if you keep a positive attitude, you're going to think properly. You're increasing the surface area for thinking,
Mm.
man. Yeah, like you're thinking that everything is possible
Possible.
because God in heaven himself said you can do all things through Christ who does what?
What
Who strengthens
strengthens
me.
you?
So you should also look at the grounds
Mm.
which is strengthening you to say what you are saying.
Okay.
You should not just be saying things out of the blues anyhow. You get the
Yeah.
point.
Um,
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I can tell them to keep a positive
yeah.
attitude.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like doing some of that stuff. You could like and subscribe. But you're always welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you very much and have a blessed weekend.
yeah.